Well, it gives me great pleasure to welcome for the first time to the Luck on Sunday studio the teenage riding sensation that is Billy Loughnane, who's accompanied by his dad, his mentor, his biggest supporter, Mark, and a man who supplies the odd winner along the way as well. Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in. Billy, things are rocking and rolling, but the one thing that really struck me was when there was a little period without a winner, the frustration you expressed. Just give us an idea of why and how this is so deep in your bones, this job.
Well, I think riding winners is everything for me. Yeah, we had a little period for a couple of weeks when I didn't have a winner, and sort of just plays on you a little bit when I've been riding quite a few of them quite quickly as well. It was playing with me a little bit, but no, it was great to get a double up on Thursday and get the ball rolling again. Now,
you do seem to naturally be smiling most of the time. Is that just him, Mark, or is it just the joy the job brings?
He's normally in good form all the time, but the last 2 weeks I haven't seen a few smiles and I've seen a few growls as well. But he's doing really well, and he's a happy boy.
So can I just go back to the early days, the very, very early days, when almost before you could ride a pony, or when you were just a boy, and what it was about horses and ponies and the sport and what your dad was doing that really grabbed you?
I'm not too sure. I think I've always just been around horses all my life, and as soon as I could say I wanted to be a jockey, that's all I've ever said I wanted to be. It's just I've been on ponies, like rocking horses, everything since I've been a baby. So yeah, I've just always been in it, and it's always what I've wanted to do.
And as a parent, you can't really force that, can you?
No. His younger brother Jack used to ride lots of ponies, and Jack plays football, and he hasn't much interest in riding. But Billy, they were on the armchairs, and they were better on the armchairs. We had to buy more sofas as they were growing up. But Billy, from the minute he was able to walk, he was every morning, every afternoon out the yard. When we moved to England, he was at Wolverhampton every Saturday night. Every chance he got, he was in the lorry, and he just lives and breathes it. And he was always going to be a jockey. When he was 6, he went into school. What do you want to be when you grow up? And we had to make colours. We had to cut up colours and sew them back and make them small. He went to school as a jockey, so I think that's all he's ever wanted to be.
And did you get much school work done at the same time? Were you good at school?
Yeah, I passed all my GCSEs. So last year there was a lot of sort of things going on at the same time. I was trying to get on my apprentice course as early as possible in August. So when my GCSEs were on, I was doing my pre-license assessment for my apprentice course in the middle of my GCSEs. So there was a lot going on sort of this time last year, but no, I did pass them all, so no, it was good.
And of course, one of the strengths of being a good rider is you need that sharpness of mind. You need that intelligence, Mark, don't you?
Yeah. From the start, even when he was young, he was going through the form of all my horses when he was 9 and 10. He knew more about my horses than I knew about them. Going to Wolverhampton, he was able to tell me what would be, where they're drawn, what he thinks will make the pace. So it was always in his head from a young age. So he was listening to me speaking to owners every day, and he was like a sponge. So, as they say, the monkey sees, monkey does, isn't that what they say? So, but he was always good.
83 rides at Wolverhampton, 20 of them have been successful. You're going at a ridiculous strike rate there. When you walk into that place, you just must feel so at one with it.
Wolves is my favourite track. I can't say it hasn't. It's always been my favourite track since I've been a baby. I was always there when I was young, like as Dad said, every Saturday night, always at Wolves, running around at his feet, and then I was sort of riding work there since I was 13. So yeah, I've been around Wolves a fair few times.
And I know people that say, well, hang on, it's a flat left-handed oval, it can't have that many idiosyncrasies, but you watch enough racing there, and it's not the easiest place sometimes, especially over 7 and 1 or 2 of the other trips.
Yeah, it can be tricky. The draw is key there. If you get a good draw, it makes a lot of difference to how the race is going to plan out around you. But no, it is a tricky enough track, but I love the place.
You got in with the pony racing, didn't you?
Yeah.
Before it all kicked off. I remember being at Newbury one day when you won. I'm pretty sure you won. and you obviously you were over the moon, Mark, as you would have been. But I sensed a strong level of expectation even then.
Yeah, Billy was mad keen to do it 10 and 11, and I kept him back and said, "You're not ready." And I wanted him to hit the ground running. We're very lucky that Richard Dawn Prince gave us some good ponies to highlight Billy. We had some nice ponies as well, but it was it's a long time in the making. Like, he's only riding 7 months, but it's 16, 17 years. But for since he's been 13, it's been full on. So.
And were there people coming up to you saying, you've got a serious talent on your hands here?
It's easy. Dad says, you know, I'm his biggest fan, put it that way. But since he's been young, he was always one with a horse. The minute I give a lot of people their first rides, first winners, and the minute I put Billy on a horse, he just gelled. And you can't put that into somebody. That has to be there. It's a talent. But he was always good, and he rode his very first ever winner in Cockleborough Point to Point on a little 13-2 pony, and he walked the track with, I think it was Roddy Green walked the track, or maybe Carl Llewellyn. I'm not sure, but anyway, he knew what he was doing before he went out, and I just let him off. And I think I was more nervous than he was, and he had a game plan on his first ever ride himself, and he went and won. And of all the winners I've trained, and I've trained some nice winners in nice places, but I think that was the biggest kick I've ever had. It was brilliant. And
it was the fact that you thought your way through it, as well as the ability on the horse. How much do you enjoy that kind of tactical, strategic aspect of the sport?
Yeah, a lot goes into it behind trying to work out what's going to happen around you in throughout the race, and I think that's key, because if you can sort of picture what's going to happen around you throughout the race, then you can try and hope to be in the best position for how the race you think is going to unfold. I think especially on the all-weather tracks, it's key to see what's happening around you and trying to get yourself in the best position for when they sort of kick off the bends. And
talk to me a bit about your dad as your mentor. You guys are spending a lot of time with each other. It's not always straightforward, but tell me a little bit about how the relationship works at the moment.
Yeah, all in all, it is quite good. Obviously, there is some ups and downs and disagreements, like any relationship, I suppose. But on the whole, it's quite good. And look, we, like you say, we do loads of things together and sort of do it as a team. So,
what does he do best?
Drive.
Oh, you must feel so good.
Well, he's got his licence now, so he's driving himself for the last week. But his mum actually is the mediator between the pair of us. We're very alike, apparently, and we have goals and we want winners. But every time we have a bit of a disagreement, Mum is in the middle. So she's been the biggest behind myself and Billy. She's behind me 1,000,000%, and without her, me and him wouldn't be sitting where we are. So it's all testament
massive.
to her as well.
Yeah, Mum's great for all of us. She sort of runs me and Dad. Without her, look, she does everything for both of us, and she's massive behind the scenes.
And how important have you found that? Because obviously you're on this roller coaster. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants to talk to you as well, and you've got to focus on the riding. Are you finding it okay? Are you finding that side of it reasonably straightforward?
Yeah. Look, the main goal for me is riding and riding winners. So I sort of try and put that first and focus on that, and then all the other things have to sort of come as they do. But it is busy and it's good, and I enjoy it. So I enjoy every minute of it.
And obviously, when you're in the situation that you're in, and you've raced through 2/3 of your claim already, and you're still only just 17, is there a sense of, right, I've got to try and work out what I'm going to do when it goes, and where to put myself, how I manage my career at that point?
Yeah, I suppose. But for me, my main goal is just to ride winners, and if that means you have to go through your claim quite quick, I suppose it is what it is. I'm quite big. Tall in that sense, so for me, just ever since I started, it was winners, 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 winners. And like, I did have a month out to go to America as well in February, which was massive for me, is being able to go at just 16 to be able to go to America for a month was great.
Who did you ride for when you were there?
I was based with Anna Mia and David Mia, and then I was riding track work at Palm Meadows, which is by Gulfstream. So I was there every morning, and I was based with them, and I was riding for loads of different trainers out there. But no, it was great, and massive to be able to experience it so young as well, and get a feel for what it's like in different countries.
And you mentioned you're tall. Is there a bit of you that's thinking, I need to strike while the iron's hot, because this is the bit of my life, bit of my development where I'm not going to be struggling too much with weight and so forth?
Yeah, I suppose. Like I said, I just want to ride winners. So wherever the winners come, wherever they are, I'm happy to go and ride them. So I am tall. I do have to keep an eye on my weight. So does every jockey. But you just have to watch it and just keep it down as best as possible.
I mean, you've seen a lot of jockeys, Mark. How much is temperament an issue in terms of sustaining a career? If you've got to have the talent, but to what extent does having the right mindset?
Yeah,
really...
it's a big thing, because when you're hungry and you can't eat, it puts you in bad form. Every person. But Billy has been watching it since he's been 13, and we went to Liverpool, up to a doctor in Liverpool, and he gave us a strict regime, and it's working really, really well. But as I said, you have to put that in someone's. Billy is just driven, and so I think his weight will be fine, and he'll stop growing. He'll be grand. But
I love your relationship, the closeness of your relationship, obviously. But it also makes me think how important it is for young, very talented sports people to have a proper mentor, to have a proper system in place whereby you can really thrive.
Yeah, I think Holly and Tom, they're just driven, and since jockeys nowadays are just more professional, they're just they're fitness fanatics, and that's the way the whole industry has gone. The day of going to the pub after the racing, them days are gone. And Billy has been around a lot of fellas and a lot of jockeys that have gone this way and that way. So Billy understands the game, and he knows exactly what it takes to get where he is. You have to be talented, but you need a lot of luck as well, and you need a lot of owners behind you. And the good thing about getting Billy's success starting very quickly is we moved to a brand new facility in Rock, and Steve and Anita Marzone and all my owners have been watching Billy since he's been young, and they've been coming to the yard and they've been seeing him on his horses, and they knew how good he was before we even started. So they've been behind Billy all the way, and going forward now, I can't get him on my horses, and some of my owners we have to go with, like Mr. Bowie or whoever wants him, and we have to do what's best for Billy.
How are you finding that, having to get off the Loughnane flying machines to ride for George Bowie or whoever?
Yeah, look, it's difficult, and it's hard because I obviously know the owners well in the yard, and lots of them have supported me throughout. But I suppose at this stage, when the rides are coming, and unfortunately, if it's a better ride or we feel it's a better ride, that's what I have to go for.
There's no room for sentiment here in this game.
No.
Look at him shaking his head.
You have to be greedy, and you have to be hungry for winners, and that's all we're trying to do at the minute.
Yeah, it's like anything. I want winners, of course, and I want my son to ride them. But at the end of the day, if Mr. Bowie has a big yard and Ed Walker and a lot of big trainers been using Billy, and Billy comes first, and if we want to go for this apprentice championship, we have to put him on the right horses. And his agent Sash Wrighton is doing a great job, and his jockey coach Roddy Green, Billy speaks to him and Sash more than he speaks to me.
So I'm quite interested in this because every sports person, however talented they are, needs a good sounding board, needs a good coach or whatever. So how has somebody like Roddy helped you?
Massively. I speak to Roddy more than I speak to anyone probably. I'm probably on the phone to him 3 or 4 times a day, and I've been working with him since I've been 13. So my sort of riding styles, it's my style, but it's been tweaked from him, and we just go through everything together. Every single race we look at beforehand, afterwards, and it's a team effort to where we can improve and what to improve on.
So technically, how's he tinkered with you?
Just obviously I was a lot smaller when I was 13, and I didn't really start growing until sort of the last sort of year, really. Mm-hmm. So in the last year, it's just been trying to sort of neaten myself up. I was quite smaller before, and obviously I've shot up quite big, so just trying to keep tidy, and just with whip and with the new rules and everything, just everything really to do with my riding's come from Roddy.
And have you found the new rules okay to adapt to?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's all of it's hard. It is hard, but it's a lot easier for me, I suppose. I've only been riding a few months, so whereas some of the older jockeys, for them, I can't imagine how hard it's been trying to adapt, because it's been a challenge for me. So, yeah, for some of the older jockeys, I imagine it's been real difficult to switch and adapt.
Have you been able to identify kind of key staging posts? I know the career's only been short so far, but moments where you've thought, yeah, I've gone up another gear. Yes, this is working. Yes, this is clicking into place.
Yeah, I suppose sort of at the start of the year in January, things really took off for me. I rattled through the end of my £7 claim, and within a week I'd ridden, I think 9 of my £5 claim as well. So I really rattled through the end of my 5 and my 7, and obviously the few trebles that I had during January were amazing, and to get 3 within a month was like massive. So
there's a few jockeys watching thinking, I'd like to have ridden 1 treble, the few trebles during that time. So I guess that makes you feel, well, how does it make you feel when you're cantering down to post on one and they are winning with that regularity and you feel like you're getting the judgment calls right? How do you feel when you put the silks on and get out and get on the horse?
It feels great. Like riding, there's no better feeling than riding a winner. It's the best feeling in the world, and when you're going past the line and you're in front, it's great. But sort of when you feel like you've give one a good ride as well, it's even better.
What's the best ride you've given one so far?
I'm not sure. I rode one from my mum in the winter. I only just started out, and from last to first at Wolves, which was quite nice. Broughton's Flair. I liked that one, and probably the winner for Mr. Appleby in Godolphin was massive. The filly was still quite green, and she just got there on the line, so I thought that was quite a nice rider myself.
What's the worst ride you've given one so far?
There's a few of them. Too many to name, probably.
One that got away?
I'm not too sure. Look, every day you ride horses and you think you can do something different when they get beat, that probably would have won and probably should have done something different on. Even the ones you win on, you think it could have won better if I'd have done this, and there's always points to improve on. So, look, along the way, there's probably many horses that I should have won on when I haven't.
It seems to me that your sense of timing and knowing where the winning post is pretty acute for someone who hasn't built up that level of experience. When you're riding in a race, right from the beginning, did you feel that you always had the time? Or was it all a blur at the beginning?
I'm not too sure. It all sort of, obviously I'd done loads of pony racing, so sort of that's massive help to start with, learning about race riding and everything, and then sort of I felt like before I had my first winner, I think it was 28 rides before I had my first winner, and it felt like quite a while.
Was he driving you absolutely mad at this point?
Yeah. Dad, when am I going to get a winner? When is, and I said, practice, and he had a few seconds and a few close shaves, and I think the turning point, we went on holidays in January, end of January. No, sorry. November, yeah. We went away for a week, and he just got beaten the line at Wolverhampton, our new Lingfield, before we went, and came back a different boy, and he just hit the ground running. Sometimes when you try hard, it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And you just have to believe in yourself. And every morning, like the last couple of weeks when Billy was just not having a winner, I was getting up every morning, you'll ride a winner today. And he was looking at me some mornings that I was, but you have to believe in yourself. It's like a trainer. Because
you're in it, you can't see it from the outside. But do you know what I'm getting at when I say that sometimes when I watch Billy in a race, like the race can be happening extremely fast. It's a 5 furlong race or whatever. And what he seems to be doing seems to be unfolding very slowly, because it's just all the time in the world, and the horse just gets there where it needs to.
Yeah, I think myself the best thing happened for Billy was when lockdown came. Billy was schooled from home for a bit because the schools weren't open. So he was doing lessons, but he was riding out quite a lot. And there was jockeys coming in riding work, and Billy was riding work with lots of different jockeys. And I think that was the making of what we have in front of us now. that took the year and a half of lockdown, I think, met Billy. Because every time we went racing, I was taking videos for the owners that weren't allowed to go racing. So I was sending the videos to the owners, but I was also sending the videos to Billy of the feedback. And so he was learning all the time. And I think that was the making of the boy that's in front of us.
So it's almost as though you were at Jockey Academy during that lockdown period.
Yeah, I loved lockdown. I was riding out in between lessons at school, and we were on break times and lunch times and before school, and look, it was great and massive for me just to learn about the horses.
What do obviously, well, you weren't, this was a time when you were being homeschooled, but your friends, your peers, people you've grown up with, what do they make of what you're experiencing now?
I suppose that they're all happy for me. To start with, I didn't think they realised it so much, and then I think a few of them see me on ITV News when I was on the news and on ITV a bit, and then look, they started to realise that it was good, and they're all happy for me in messages and that, so it's good. And
as far as the weighing room itself is concerned, obviously, all riders are individual businesses to a certain extent, but you need that companionship and that camaraderie as well. Have you found that?
Yeah, every jockey in the weighing room's been great to me since I've started, helping me out, and just with regards to just everything, they've all been massive. When I couldn't drive, helping me with lifts, get to the races, and no, everyone in there has been massive. The valets, all of them, everyone's great to me.
It's been some few months, hasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. If I'm honest, we thought we'd just rock into the summer with 10 or 11 winners, but it helped that my horses came to form the time when Billy started, and we've racked up a lot of winners since January, and we had a good year back end of last year, so it all fell into place.
And as yet, nobody's knocked on your door and felt your collar for the robbery that you were committing, having him claiming £7 on those horses.
It's mad. The very first winner he rode, I was a blubbering wreck when I got interviewed, and I said, this is in 2 years' time, this will be like Robin Hood. I said, this is the best £7 we'll ever have, and I didn't think it'd go as good as it's gone, but it's gone really good.
At the moment, very special.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.